Blessings, everyone. Today I would like to share, this is the Energy and Spirit Oracle. Because today there has been a lot of messages through the veil, Spirit came through very clear and said that in the stillness is the most profound place, the most direct that we experience Source, Spirit, guides, angels. But sometimes it's very difficult to go in that space because we're having the human experience. There's life, there's emotions, there's sometimes miscommunication, there's struggles, there's so many things going on. And we have this idea that we can't connect in spirit unless we're being still. And so Spirit wants to reassure us that no matter what, we can be the eye of the storm. In the middle of the chaos, in the middle of the anger, in the middle of the frustration, the heartbreak, sadness, that connection never goes away. They're always there. It's just us being able to listen. So I've asked today, because so many are in this space, just for a quick message to kind of bring us into that understanding that we are connected. We are still connected no matter what's going on. Sometimes we can't get into the space of stillness. We can't get into that space of meditation, but we still want to feel that feeling. We still want to hear a sign. We still want messages. And so sometimes we just have to trust another to be the messenger for us. There's been many times I've looked to so many different people on YouTube or Instagram, TikTok, X, you name it, just to bring that peace. Sometimes going out in nature and seeing the creatures brings that moment where we get a message. It could be just someone on the street that stops for a minute to chat with us at the grocery store, and they bring us a message. We have to be open to that. So sometimes it's okay. We're not meditating. Maybe we're not able to be still in that moment, but know innately that we are still connected. First, I would like to say thank you to Source for allowing me to be the medium of light. And I ask Spirit to bring through a message for the highest good. Thank you. I'm grateful. First shuffle, honor Source. Second shuffle, honor Spirit. And the third shuffle is the representation of the story that we tell here, the soul. Then what I do is I just move the cards around and Spirit will tell me which one to take. Sometimes it'll fly out of the deck. Sometimes it just lifts up like this one. And they're saying the healing heart, love, acceptance, romance. Spirit is saying that on some level, in some way, all of us are on this journey healing the heart. It's never finished while we're here. As enlightened and expanded in our consciousness as we all have become, there is always going to be things that will test us, that will break our heart, and we just have to surrender to that. There's going to be moments that people that we are supposed to love and trust are going to get in there and empty all of that heart space. We're going to sometimes feel defeated. We're sometimes going to feel as though it's never going to heal. And it's in these moments, in the chaos, when we can't be still, that we have to just have trust. Even if it's very difficult in the moment to trust that there's a part of Source that's guiding us, or an angel, or our loved ones in spirit, our ancestors, we have to trust ourselves. And Spirit is saying, the fact that we are here, that we exist, and we haven't given up this far, That's all that it takes. That breath is the center of source. The heartbeat is the exuberance. It's the magnificence. It's the expression of our soul, that small part of us that came here to experience. And even if it is a little broken, or maybe we're feeling a little lost in the moment, it beats. There's a saying in the spiritual community, I am that I am. And this means so much more than just the Ascended Masters. This is all that is. And when we use these words, when it comes to our heart space, we're bringing that beautiful resonance, our connection to source through. And sometimes we are not going to get the answers. We're not going to get the healing in that moment. We're going to be feeling it sometimes. But this is our opportunity to navigate. This is going to expand far beyond anything that the brain can comprehend. We have to trust that we came here, that we believed in ourselves, our souls, the strength of our souls, the wisdom, the innate wisdom that we carry from many lifetimes, that no matter what happens to the heart space or what feels like it's happening, that on another level, we're expanded, we're radiance, we're magnificence, we are light, we are love. But we're just not hearing. So the encouragement today is speak from the heart space. I was encouraged to do a crystal singing bowl in the key of G for the throat chakra today, and Spirit was adamant about speaking from the heart. We like logic, we like reason, we sometimes don't recognize that the ego is a tool. We're not always going to surpass that space. But if we draw on the wisdom, and that is because we've had experience and we understand how to process things through the heart space, we can speak from that space. There's nothing more direct, source to source, mirroring, than when we speak from the heart. We have to be fearless, though. Speaking from the heart, speaking through a cage, speaking through filters, speaking in a box, trying to protect the heart continuously, that is building a density. It's making it very difficult, not just for us to hear spirit, but for us to communicate with each other. We all carry some form of trauma here. From the day we took our first breath, we began a journey, and there were difficulties for all of us. Now, we're not here measuring each other's difficulties of who has it the worst and who might have had the biggest challenge they've overcome, because for all of us, it's a specifically individual experience. But one thing is guaranteed. No matter what each of us have been through, if we're speaking from the heart space, it's going to connect. If we're communicating from the heart space, just for that attention, not always communicating to reply, not always communicating to have our opinions heard, but when we're communicating, we're listening because we want to understand. There's a big difference. Spirit is saying we're getting caught up in communicating because we want to make a point. We want to be validated. We want to be heard. And there's many, many reasons for this. But let us not forget that beautiful heart space we have, that vulnerable space where we are comfortable within. Know thyself. That if we communicate from the heart, this is a space where the communication and the only end result and goal of this type of communication from the heart is to understand, is not to judge. It is not to place blame. It's not to validate, vindicate. It's not always going to heal. But if we speak from the heart space, the most beautiful, extraordinary thing occurs between one, two, or many, is that we understand each other. The heart is not something that can be mistaken. Language, words, art, creativity, emotions, they can all be misleading. But when we're speaking from the heart, no matter what language that is, no what form that is, whether it's creatively, verbally, even silently, heart to heart. Sometimes it doesn't take a word. Sometimes it's just a knowing. It's a telepathic experience. It's a resonance. It's an energy. When we allow that to happen, there's no mistaken. And this is where we are truly and purely understood. So they're pulling their energy back. I hope that in some way this inspires and helps us remember that the connection isn't up here. We may have to process what we're receiving here from each other, from spirit, from nature, but it's here in the heart. I have a tattoo here, and this reminds me of the crystalline heart, the pureness. Stay in this space because intention cannot be mistaken there. And as we understand each other, we are in our fullness. Much love, everyone. Beautiful blessings.